Hi everyone, welcome. So today we are going to be working on tiles and something called tessellation, which is a very big word, but we will be making basically what is known as patterns, and so shapes and things like that. So more will be explained in the how-to video, so watch on. But we're happy to have partnered with the Community Forklift, which is a fabulous organization that's here in Prince George's County. They are basically a reuse and reclaim kind of organization. So all of the tiles that you have gotten have been basically saved and are being reused. So sometimes they get things from builders that have too much excess, so maybe they bought too many tiles, and so they get donated to Community Forklift, and then they get sold on to somebody else. So so we're happy to be working with them for this video. I hope you will enjoy learning about what they do and why they do it and what their mission is. And then we will go ahead and get started on our project. So I will show you our supplies in just 1 second. So you may be wondering what tessellation is. So tessellation is one or more shapes that fit together with no gaps or overlaps. So the project that I did, I will say, is inspired by tessellation. It is not a perfect tessellation, and that is okay. It is very hard to make the perfect kind of tessellation. So if you can do one or more shapes and leave no gaps, and the pattern will just go on and on and on, that's fantastic. If you need to simplify it a little bit, make it a little bit easier, that's okay too, because you're still going to make some beautiful tiles. Okay, so the first thing that we have, all right, so our first thing we have is our little template here. This is going to be used for basically designing our tessellation project. So the tracing paper will be used for this as well. You will have tiles. So you should have 4 tiles that we will use for this project. Some colorful papers. You should have 3 or 4 pieces of really nice colorful paper. You can, if you want to, I'll say zhuzh it up a little bit, you can use the markers once you've glued everything down and it's dried. So you can go ahead and use those. And some Elmer's glue. And last but not least, a pair of scissors. Okay? So go ahead, gather your supplies, make sure you have the right supplies, and then we will get started.
I'm Susanna Salazar, and I work at Community Forklift. I've been working here probably close to 5 years. It will be 5 years in October. I am the program coordinator here. My main job is to help families that don't necessarily have the resources to be able to work on repairs or even like replace, let's say, a broken appliance. So my job is really to give out important home essentials to these families. And then we also help other nonprofits with helping them in acquiring free materials for community projects. Most of the materials we receive will be from just like general donors, like homeowners in the area. We get a lot of contractors that will donate to us, businesses. And even at some point we did do like deconstruction, or we had donors from that. There's actually a very diverse amount of people that come in. Normally we'll have families. The community we're in is actually probably more like lower to middle class, so a lot of the families come in if they need just affordable repair stuff. We also get like artists that will come in. A lot of businesses tend to come in as well if they want to repair their store or shop. And then we just get a lot of people from Virginia, DC, sometimes even Baltimore, so it's a variety.
Come down. So we have a 40,000 plus square feet warehouse. And over here, so basically see a whole lot of different things that we get through donations. A lot will be new or gently used items. This is our lighting area. As you can see when we come over here, we have toilets and sinks.
Very important.
And more lighting. We also have vanities over this section, ceiling fans.
Nice.
And we have a furniture section to the left as well. We have a whole lot of tile, surplus tile that we get donated to us from distributors that need to clear out their inventory. So they donate to us because they know it's going to go to a good home. And it'll be reused.
Very nice. And and you guys are a nonprofit, right?
We are.
Yeah.
501c3.
Okay. This project is going to be about tessellation. So I hope you enjoyed the video from Community Forklift telling us all about what they do, what their mission is, and how they help people in our community. So they have generously given us tiles, which is one of our project materials today. So you should have 4 tiles. They may be white or off-white. It doesn't matter for what we're doing. Because we're going to cover those with paper. You should have some sort of glue. This is the glue that I have at home. So yours might look a little different, but you need glue. Scissors. So, because I'm going to cut some things out. A pencil. A marker. You should have gotten some markers in your pack. So a marker. And then tracing paper, some colorful paper that we will use later, and a little template. These you can see, this little template works perfectly for each of your tiles. So it should line up pretty well. And I'll need to clean my tiles. I cleaned them before, but they've been sitting out here, so I might need to clean them again. But there you go. So that template should be perfect for those tiles. And then now we will get started. So I'm going to keep mine very simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have my template here, and then I have my tracing paper. And so what I want to do is I want to focus on just one square at the moment. So I'm going to outline my square on from my template. So now I have just this corner. So I've used this. I've lined that up there. And then I have a piece of paper just to make it easier for me to see. I'll put my template to the side. And so this way, I'm just going to draw in the inside of here. So for me, I'm going to, I think I'm going to use triangles today. I think that I like the idea of triangles. And I'm just using this little note card. So you can use it. This is a straight edge. So if you don't have a ruler, you can just get a piece of junk mail and use it as your ruler. And I'm going to line mine up corner to corner. And then I'm going to draw my line like that. Then I am going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm using the note card as my ruler. And then I'm going to just come right up here. So now I have 4 triangles. Now that I have my little template here, these outlines, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my tracing paper over and I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to come along the back side here, and I'm basically putting graphite where all of these little lines are. I don't really need it all in there unless I had more pattern. I can just go right down the edges of, let's go ahead and do that line because we're going to need to make sure that we're all square. So I'm going to take a piece of this really bright colored paper and I'm going to line it up on the corner here. All right. And you want to get this as close as possible, so take your time. There's no rush. And just so that I keep my lines straight, because I'm kind of a little bit of a freak about lines and the such. I'm going to, again, use my card just to help me keep it in alignment. And then I'm going to run right along those lines I made the first go round. And I'm going to come over here. And you want to press pretty firmly when you're doing it, because the whole idea is to get the graphite you put on the back side to transfer. So you see how I have a line now? So what we did is we made our own carbon paper, so our own copy paper. This means you can, any drawing you make and you want to copy it, you now have the power to copy it, because you just have to put the little pencil on the back, and you see, now I have that. So I'm going to do this again. So I've got that pencil on the back, right? So I can do my lines. And I don't care if it gets on this paper, because this is literally just so that I can see it with the tracing paper and the such. So that's just sort of a scrap piece of paper, just to make it easier on me to see where I am. And you'll notice I'm holding down the edges of my paper. Like I stretch my hand really far. So you want to kind of stretch it. Another way you can do it would be to lay your hand down flat like that to help keep the edge of the paper flat, and then just come up here and draw your line, okay? And then I have another set of triangles. And so I want to do one more. So I have this bright hot pink, and I'll do one more. So now I should have a third set, and you can see they're kind of getting lighter and lighter. It's because I didn't reapply my pencil on the back. But anytime if I wanted to get those dark again and do it again, I would just do the same thing I did before, which is put more pencil back there. Okay. So I'm going to put my little tracing paper aside. I don't really need this anymore, I don't think, but I'll put it over the side where it's within easy reach. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut out my triangles. And again, there's no rush on this, so you can go slowly. So now, if you're somebody who doesn't like having the little bit of pencil on the triangles, you can always take a little eraser and go really lightly over that and get rid of that. Okay, so if you're like, ooh, that looks a little smudgy, you can just do a really nice light erase of that and get rid of it if you like. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of my little support piece of paper. I don't really need that anymore because I now have all of my triangles. All right, I'm going to bring this back because I want to lay my tiles down on it, because that'll help me keep things straight, right? And then what I can do is I can sort of play with and I might need to cut a few more triangles, which is okay. I have enough to cover. So you see, I'm gonna make one more yellow triangle so that I can make sure that I have enough to cover each of my squares. And so you can do this. You can do any kind of shapes you want. The only reason I'm doing triangles is because I think that it will work really neatly to be able to rotate these around, make kind of different little designs. And these don't have to be perfect right now because I haven't glued them down. So I'm just gonna leave them like that. And we're like, okay, I kind of like the pattern. Kind of like the pattern that we got going. Okay. And now I'm going to start gluing. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this tile away from the others. I'm going to try to create myself a little gluing space. So I'm going to just kind of try to move those over there a little bit. So that way, now I have this. And what I'm going to do is, so this is my pattern. I'm going to set this like this, so it looks like what it did on here. And then I'm going to put some glue down on my tile. So I've got a little Q-tip because I'm just going to spread my glue around a little bit because I don't want it to be too globby. Okay. So I'm going to try to get that spread around pretty evenly. Okay, and then I'm just going to prop my Q-tip over there. And then I'm going to just try to line up the best I can my triangles on the edge of my tile. And you know, you do want your hands clean because you can see what I just did with mine. I didn't clean off my paint from earlier. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to put this triangle on. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move around to the other ones and do the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to set that up there to dry. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'll set this off to the side here. Put my glue on. And then put my little triangles on. All right, so now we have everything glued down. You can see there's a few little smudgy marks, but that is actually the graphite. And I can take a paper towel and get some of it off. But I can also take my eraser and work on it a little bit if I want. So if you find that you have that there, that is one option. You can do a little bit of erasing. Another option is that we can go in now and decorate these. So for me, I think what I want to do is decorate in here. I've got a blue marker. So I'm just going to draw some additional triangles. Okay. And then maybe what I'll do is I will put some circles on here. I'm just going to do this kind of drawing. And I'm mirroring whatever I do. So you see that one's there. So I'm going to go here, and I'll put it down here, so it's the same marks. Okay, so now I have some different kind of things that I have going on. If I want to put patterns in some of these other things, I can. If I want to fill those in, you can do whatever you like. So if I'm going to, like, I want to start with, I'll say my pinks and my greens matching. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to make lines like this. Okay. And then I can do the same thing here if I want. And see what kind of patterns I get from that. So now I have something with a pattern on a pattern, and I can turn things around so that they look a bit different. Okay. Right? And you see how these line up? If I wanted to, I could do this. Bring it down there, and then those line up. So you can get all sorts of different patterns in there. So, and you can use as many different color markers as you want. You can use basic shapes again. So you start with your basic shapes like I did with triangles, and then you can decorate. Okay? So again, we will look forward to seeing what you accomplish at the Zoom. Thank you. Bye.